Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to take a look at Penguin Soul's new video, huge Boogie2988 accusations. Boogie is a OG content creator. I used to watch his videos a while back, like several years back, and when he did those sketches and stuff with Francis, and yeah. But let's get right into the video.
Yeah, I'm talking about Boogie again, the internet's favorite clown. Everyone is lining up to throw the baseball at the target to dunk this goober into the water tank, and I can't resist. It's actually unbelievable how he continues to find new, deplorable ways to sink deeper into degeneracy and dig himself even deeper holes.
Jeez, this does not sound good.
I am blown away by his ability to constantly embarrass himself. I don't know what kind of kink this is, but it goes beyond humiliation at this point. So buckle your seatbelt. I'm going to deliver a high-speed Boogie breakdown here for what happened last night. So Boogie has maintained for a while that he has cancer. And a lot of his reasoning behind his most recent cryptocurrency scam was that he needed the money for his medical treatments with his cancer. And last night, that diagnosis was challenged with people directly confronting about the authenticity of his claims because there were some inconsistencies and some shady things with what Boogie was saying about it. I believe the catalyst behind this whole conversation was Destiny, who spearheaded the questions that he had about Boogie's diagnosis, and it led to, like, directly talking with him about it, which then led to more and more people coming in to talk to Boogie about it. And for those that don't know, Boogie2988 is a pathological liar. He cannot help himself. Just like a pile of dog shit can't help but smell like poop, Boogie can't help but lie. Even about the most trivial things ever. He used to tell fibs about games and like what games he was playing and finishing and why he needed to buy games to review them only to never review the games. Like, I'm surprised he didn't start weighing in on the Elden Ring DLC being too hard, saying some shit like, oh, well, yeah, so the Elden Ring DLC was quite simple for me, really. I kind of first tried every single boss. My favorite boss was Rudonius of the Hidden Leaf Village, obviously. Like, he just lies, and he can't help but continue to lie anytime he sees an opportunity for it, especially if it could potentially lead to some level of sympathy. Oh, yes, I've experienced racism. Me, Boogie2988.
It's pretty sad, actually. Like, it seemed like he used to be doing pretty good. And then he talked about all those surgeries and stuff, and it seemed like things would be going up, but then they just came crashing down. And yeah, after his breakup and stuff, that was a while ago, and then he has this new young girlfriend, and it looks so weird. She's like so skinny as well, and such a weird matchup, but oh well. I guess they complement each other, hopefully.
As you know, I'm a full-blooded Atlantean, and I recall when Plato came to our hidden continent and sunk it himself because he didn't like the color of our skin. Like, he is just a liar, is the point I'm trying to make here. An outrageous one at that. So, with some of the things he was saying, people started to question whether or not he really did have cancer, so they confronted him directly on a podcast. And throughout the 3 or so hours that he was on the podcast there, he chose the worst possible dialogue options every single time. And it eventually culminated with him getting naked.
So your shred of privacy is this, but not being naked on film, not talking about fucking whores.
Yeah, I'll get naked right now. I'll get naked right now.
Jesus.
Bro,
what the hell?
Here to
no one wants to see that.
Down to your birthday suit. Boogie's playing chess, the rest of us are playing checkers. Lying about having cancer takes a very special kind of scumbag. It's not unheard of on the internet. There's plenty of famous cases of people doing that. But to come in and question Boogie on...
Lying about cancer is crazy, dude. Like, you're just using people's sympathy and good nature against them, really. It's so sad.
Like, you've got to have your ducks in a row. And Boogie, when defending himself, refused to show even a single shred of evidence to push back against the claims. And the claims had more evidence than Boogie did about his diagnosis.
Jeez.
And it eventually reached the point where people were begging him to just show like a fucking single molecule that would somehow lend any credence to Boogie's claims, and he just refused. There was I think it was an $80,000 bounty. Like, multiple YouTubers came in and offered thousands upon thousands of dollars to Boogie, up to $80,000, to just show a piece of his medical record to a trusted third party, so that way they could verify it, that he really does have cancer like he claims he does, and he refused. Which is very weird, considering Boogie just scammed his audience for $10,000, talking about how desperate he was for money because of his medical bills and everything. So he'll scam his audience for $10,000.
This does not look good. It looks really bad.
But he won't just briefly show a little piece of his medical record here for 80 grand, 80,000 clams. That just doesn't add up. Because he's talking about how it's like the last bastion of privacy he has, which doesn't make any sense because Boogie has never given a fuck about privacy.
Right?
Every single aspect of his life he has pushed into the public eye that people have to just like have their fucking retinas burned out against their will because Boogie is shoving every aspect of his personal life down their throat. Yet this is the one thing he wants privacy on, even though he himself was the first one to ever talk about it. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So it's definitely not looking good for Boogie after this. He's since deactivated his Twitter account and everything, which probably is only temporary. He's addicted to Twitter. It's like a heroin addict. Like, I imagine he's going to go back to the needle here to Twitter. But for now, it's looking like his ham got steamed on this podcast. It doesn't look good here. Of course, it hasn't been 100% definitively proven that he's lying about his diagnosis or anything like that. But the whole situation around it is very weird for sure.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he's lying though. And why would he not show any proof? Like, I mean, when he claims to be in a bad situation with money as well, it just seems so off.
And I just want to show you a little bit from it. Now, a buddy of mine, whom I'm sure all of you have heard me talk about in the past, Jackson Clark, that's a name that lives in infamy in the mind of Boogie. Jackson Clark is Boogie's boogeyman. He mentioned Jackson so many times unprompted in this podcast that the other hosts were left stunned, wondering who the fuck is Jackson? Because Jackson has, for a long time now, been pushing back against a lot of what Boogie has said and done to his audience. And Jackson, a while back, did talk about the diagnosis on Twitter, and it has, I guess, weighed heavy on the psyche of Boogie.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Ads. But let's check what Jackson Clark is gonna say. Who the fuck is Jackson Clark, dude?
And I'm staying by it now. Destiny, Jackson Clark, Keemstar, you can see it when I fucking die. It's my fucking goddamn medical record.
Jesus. So
I don't know
bad.
why Jackson Clark was on the tip of his tongue there in the middle of this panel, but wow. That's so big. Hold on, I gotta send that to Jackson. Jackson's gonna have a big old smile and a big old wet spot in his trousers for it. That's big. It was Destiny who put up 5K and Muda put up 50K. Oh, wow.
Which one of these are Jackson
it's not like
Clark?
To turn down free money like that. He just scammed his audience for $10,000, which in this podcast he openly admits to. I think it was who was it? Like, I think it was Nicholas Diorio. Nicholas Diorio at the very end came in and he's like, "What do you mean morals? You scammed your audience for 10K." And Boogie goes, "Yeah, but this is different."
Jesus. That's crazy.
He's like, "These are two separate things."
Jeez.
Because I'm insisting on it because I'm hoping the microphone.
No, wait.
He definitely wanted to do it again.
Why would you have to insist on a biopsy if you can confirm?
But this is basically the whole podcast where they are picking apart Boogie's story and just begging and even trying to offer him tons of money to prove that he actually has what he says he has.
Right.
Where does he mention more Jackson, though?
Goddamn medical records. And I don't want one of you motherfuckers feeling sorry for me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you do.
Okay? You hate me as much as you fucking want. But I'm taking one goddamn thing with me. And this is a decision I made when Jackson Clark demanded this shit 2 fucking years ago. And it's a decision I'm fucking sticking to here 2 years
I don't know
later.
who Jackson Clark is.
I don't even know if I'm getting...
That's incredible! Jackson Clark, he did it again! First and last name. He's doing it. He's doing it! It's so huge. And now he looks like a pioneer for being the first to request the Panama Papers on Boogie here. And then 2:43 on the dot. Jackson mentioned again. This is like a Where's Waldo game. 2:43 mentioned again.
Getting his name right. It's fucking Moist Critical's butt buddy. I don't fucking know.
Why do you keep calling him
Jesus.
Jackson Clark?
I don't
Wait, he's getting name dropped again!
know his real name.
Charlie also got
What
name
do you mean
dropped
you don't know
though.
his real name? You've said it 4 times. Jackson Clark. You think that's an alias? A first and last name alias? His real name's fucking Steve Cheeseburger? And why you pretend you don't know his real name? You tweet about him every now and then after blocking him so he can't fight back.
Really? That's sad.
That's his pseudonym. He's using it like J.K. Rowling.
Right.
I'm gonna let him have
Too,
the
right?
win.
I'd
I'm gonna let him
break
have
some
the win.
type of law.
I'm gonna let him
HIPAA
have
laws,
the win.
yeah.
I'm gonna let him have the win.
What's the reasoning behind that? Why are you letting him have the win?
Because as I said to Jackson Clark 2 years ago, or at least said about
Jackson
it,
Clark.
yeah, I am not sharing my medical records. This is for me. I'm good.
Jeez.
How much money did Jackson Clark get you to fucking say his name?
No, right?
On his stream?
I don't know.
Great advertising, yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's good
Jackson
for
Clark.
Penguin Zero, Jackson Clark, Penguin Zero, Jackson Clark. Check it out. Buy Fattycoin. There.
Jeez.
That's honestly, put that on the back of the DVD box. That is so fucking flames. Hold on, I'm telling Jackson timestamps. Get Jackson on stream. He's sleeping right now. It's Australia. He's not up yet.
Jackson Clark, who the fuck is that?
He actually hates you too. He does. He absolutely does. 100%. But he hates everyone that doesn't immediately fall in line and agree with him. What's crazy is he doesn't hate Keemstar, who literally invited him over to his house on the 4th of July just to throw ice cubes at him and bully him. But he hates everybody else. Literally everybody else.
Okay.
It's so odd. It's super weird. I don't know why he hates me and Jackson so much more than everyone else. I genuinely do not. I have talked about Boogie twice. Once with his crypto scam and once with the documentary that dropped where he talked about how his life fell apart from buying hookers and everything and still had a crazy ego about how he deserves to fuck tens.
Right.
And all kinds of heinous shit. Those are the only 2 times I talked about him. And comparatively to everyone else, I don't even think I was that mean. I gave him legitimate advice about maybe instead of scamming your audience, you should just keep making YouTube videos. He averages 20K views per video. If you just make a video a day at that average, he would be able to support himself with at least $10,000 a month.
Right?
Easy. Bare minimum.
Especially when he's so known.
I feel like, honestly, it was pretty reasonable. But maybe he doesn't like to hear that. He'd rather people throw ice cubes at him in person. I don't know. I really don't know. You guys did make fun of him in the documentary for like an entire podcast episode. Yeah, constructively. Like, if you're going through all these health problems, maybe don't start every day with a Mountain Dew after you take off your
Yeah.
fucking CPAP machine.
True,
Like, that's
true.
constructive. I think. Like, instead of a Mountain Dew, anything else. And maybe
Water.
just doing fucking acid in the middle of the forest with a fucking shaman is not going to be the therapist you need.
Jesus.
I know, yeah, I know. They brought in everyone for this one. It's certainly not looking like Boogie was telling the truth, shockingly. But who
Shocker.
knows? Maybe for some reason he really is refusing like $80,000 in order to keep this last bastion of privacy, which isn't really private considering he was the one that talked about it first.
Right?
Watched all 4 hours. He doesn't hate you and Jackson. He thinks Jackson Clark is your real name and Charles White is one of your internet aliases. No, that's not true. He knows we're separate people. Now you're just making shit up, but I love that. I love that idea. Jackson Clark is my Australian alter.
Right.
So a couple of quick things. I have made 2 videos on Boogie ever, but he has become a pretty common topic on the podcast where we talk about some of his more recent shenanigans. So maybe that's where he's hearing a lot of it from, because in videos, it's only been 2 from me. And on the podcast, it's not just me. It's everyone kind of just going over like the Boogie recap on what he's doing right now and why he probably shouldn't be doing what he's doing right now and how he can do things that
Right.
are better than that. Like maybe that's where he's seeing a lot of it from, where he gets this idea that I'm always, shitting on him or whatever. And the other thing I actually want to dive into a little bit is where I briefly mentioned that if Boogie would just make a video a day, or at least increase the frequency in which he creates content, he would be able to support himself. And he wouldn't need to resort to scams or lies or these elaborate ruses to try and squeeze milk from a stone here and shake down the last remaining audience he has for their lunch money.
But maybe his audience is gone and he can't get views anymore.
He could just support himself through what he used to do, which was make content. Yes, he lost...
I'm not saying it makes up for scamming people, but it might not be a source of income any longer.
Most of his audience, once they started to take a peek behind the mask, the facade that he put up, then they noticed that he's like the goddamn Babadook, right? He's a monster. But his channel was so big that even losing the majority of his audience still leaves him with a very sizable audience left. That's bigger than like 99% of other channels on the platform already. And averaging between 20 to 30,000 views per video is sustainable. I have another channel, and I've talked about it a couple of times, called Skill Check. And this is for all of the nerdy shit that I love to do. It's pretty niche. So Dungeons and Dragons and trading card games. Right now, mainly Magic the Gathering Commander, but we're branching into more Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece TCG content. I have a huge passion for this shit. And the average views on the videos for that channel is right around 30 to 40,000-ish. Sometimes they pop off like the Commander game with Wubby or the Shot Caller Commander game, but the average is between like 30 to 40,000 across the whole channel.
Nice.
And I'm going to just give you a peek behind the old analytics here. This is what the channel generates. Off 2.1 million views per month, it makes over $7,000 per month.
That's crazy.
Now let's compare that to Boogie's channel. Boogie, even when not creating content, his channel basically just gathers fucking cobwebs because he doesn't want to put any work in and make stuff. Even with that in mind, his channel still makes almost 1 million views per month. Now imagine if he would just post more frequently. He could easily fucking support himself through AdSense. He could.
Right.
No matter what lie he tries to feed you about how that's not possible, no one wants to watch him, his average says otherwise. He just doesn't want to do it. He's looking for the easier paydays, like taking $10,000 up front to pump a fucking crypto scam.
Right.
If it is true that Boogie is lying about all of this, that'll just be yet another unbelievably low thing that Boogie has done throughout his career. And he has made a career out of doing some of the lowest shit the platform's ever seen.
Yeah.
So again, it hasn't been 100% confirmed that he's lied about this. So maybe he is telling the truth. Maybe he's got stick it to the monneosis. Like, it's just all a
From
very
School of
odd
Rock
set of circumstances with the way all of this is unfolding here.
What a reference.
I just had to talk about it a little bit because, man,
Charlie is so good at bringing up some obscure references, but they are goated references.
Jackson Clark, he got mentioned so many times here, and this is just such a fucking weird story. That's really about it. So yeah, as I was rendering the video here, some new lore just dropped, a little update to this case. Keemstar made a tweet kind of talking about some things behind the scenes. Now, he's like the Boogie whisperer. Boogie tells him everything, I guess. So I think probably best to wait for Boogie to confirm all of this, but I'll at least put this here for the sake of covering everything that's come out here. According to Keem's tweet, Boogie went on steroids that could cause cancer in the blood, and then 2 years ago, after he lost his money in crypto, went to the doctor, said he had high red blood cells, indicating he may have it. Before he got any confirmation, he made a YouTube video announcing it, and then for 2 years has been telling people he has it to use it for sympathy. And he never actually got confirmation, but now apparently he's scheduled to go see whether or not he has it. So that's the most recent update there, and it doesn't come directly from Boogie, so I guess we might have to wait to see what he says about it, even though Boogie himself isn't really a reliable narrator since he lies about everything ever.
Right.
But again, there is no 100% confirmation on whether or not he's lying about this or anything, but it is certainly very peculiar. Very, very weird. That's about it. See ya.
Yeah, what do you think? Pretty weird how he said he has cancer for 2 years, but he doesn't really know. That's weird. You shouldn't do stuff like that. But if you like the video, leave it a like. Don't forget to comment your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe either. See ya. Bye.